Hello, everybody. Straight out of Workers' Comp again from WCI in hot Orlando. This is Mark Pugh. Bob is off speaking at a panel, so I am flying solo with Barbara Curd with PCSI. Phenomenal person. She and I got to meet for the very first time just a couple hours ago, actually, and kind of talking about what we wanted to talk about. And she said something that fully resonated with me, and I wrote it down so I would not forget it. She fits the job to the person. So Barbara, tell us a little bit about what that means to you personally, philosophically, the way that your company operates and all that kind of stuff.
Well, PCSI, we are mission-based. It is about providing jobs for people with disabilities. And whether that's someone with a physical or cognitive or a veteran, it's about giving meaningful employment for individuals who might need some additional support.
Mm-hmm. So when they can't go back to the job that they used to have, and you're trying to fit the job to the person, what does that mean? Because I think we typically think of return to work as like fitting the person back into the job that they were there, or trying to find another job that's kind of similar. That unique, that twist of words really kind of threw me off when we talked about it today. So what does that mean practically, how y'all do that?
So really, 85% of our employees are disabled from their general workforce, and we're a federal contractor, so we still have a job to do, and we value our customers. But it's about, the person. It's about someone who might need some additional support, might need job modifications, or additional needs. Maybe it's extra breaks. Maybe it's other support mechanisms to help them be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So really what we look at is, we secure medical documentation. We have an amazing workforce development team who secures medical documentation of our employees to ensure that we know what their limitations are. We have a physical demands analysis that works to identify what the job is, but then also how do we accommodate that job for that person?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about making them successful.
Gotcha. And a lot of that is attitude and their willingness to kind of do maybe something different. How do you kind of guide them through? Because we as an industry are getting a little bit better in understanding that the brain is as important, the mindset is as important as the physical capabilities or lack thereof. So how do you help empower them, engage them, motivate them, get them kind of back on track, even if maybe their trajectory or what they're going to be doing for the rest of their life is different for whatever reason?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think a lot of it comes down to training, and the mindset of how they can grow and advance into their career.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a one shoe fits type of scenario. I like to make up my own little sayings. But
one shoe fits. Yeah, I don't think that's how it goes, but that's okay. We'll go with it.
But it's about making sure that the employee understands that we as an employer understands what the employee's needs are,
mm-hmm.
And help educate them and grow them into that role.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's a mindset of the employee, but it's also the mindset of the organization. And our employees are our future.
Yep, they're your assets. They're most important asset.
We see a lot of changes with AI, with a lot of things that are coming up, and we're finding that a skilled worker is kind of the new future. Mm-hmm. So we're also working to prepare those individuals who want to develop and grow their skills, continue to grow them into those more technical skills.
Gotcha.
or those more technical jobs, I should say.
Mm-hmm. So you've been involved in work comp for years. You were on the claim side.
Yes.
Before this. What's the difference in your role, but also kind of your attack of the things that need to be done? Because your role now is a different perspective, I'm assuming, than when you were in the claim side.
Yes, I'll admit 30 years ago I started doing claims.
Well, I wasn't going to out you, but yeah.
But really, for PCSI, what's so great is it's not about we have injuries, of course, but it's about getting that employee back to baseline. It's about providing that safe environment, preventing the injuries in the first place. And the biggest part of that is, like you said at the very beginning, fitting the job to the person versus the person to the job. Or maybe I just said that backwards.
No, you were right. You were spot on. Yeah.
It's about focusing on how to keep that person continuing to grow in their career and keeping them to be within an employee within our organization. Because how do we continue to grow as an organization? It's through growth of our employees.
So in 30 years, a lot changes.
A lot changes.
Yeah,
I don't think I answered your question, did I?
No. I'm just stating it a different way. But what has changed over time, and maybe not just your job, but maybe the overall how work comp is handled, the culture that we have in the workplaces? What have you seen as trends, and are we trending in the right direction?
I think we are. I think a lot of companies recognize the skill sets that people with disabilities bring. For us, it's about how we also manage claims. When we do have an injured worker, it's about contacting them, communicating with them to help them understand the process, getting them the appropriate care and getting them back to work. Because we can job card, because we can make accommodations, we have an extensive return work program, which keeps that employee engaged. And that's really the big thing about workers' comp, right? It's about keeping that employee in the workforce, moving forward, and not focusing on the disability, but focusing on the person, because you know what, we're all the same.
Right. And when you're having someone who's a veteran, who's gone through traumatic circumstances, or someone who's cognitively impaired because of an injury, you're dealing also with their family, with the people that support them. And that may be a good supporting cast. It may be, they're uplifting and they're, empowering and they're throwing positive vibes, or it could be a completely dysfunctional, toxic thing. And everybody's blaming everybody else, and they get divorced because the money's not there, all sorts of stuff. So when you embrace kind of that whole picture, how do you kind of include the family or the supporting cast with that to try to maybe help encourage that person to make that change, or to maintain that pace and not fall back and relapse?
That's a great question. Probably more for our workforce development team, but it's the person and their family. They're all one. And in order, when we can help someone be successful, it helps bring up their and raise their family together. So as a whole, that employee is that family. So I guess I would just say that communicating with everyone as a whole is essential. Because anyone's family member is going to help that employee be successful as we continue to grow and teach that employee to make their family much better. Veterans, have a transition. Our president and CEO is Tony Kuklo. He's a retired 2-star general. And, he's the biggest advocate for our veterans, to be very honest. And so he recognizes those needs, and our workforce development team works together, to ensure that we're setting up that person for success. So they're a rock and a support mechanism for their entire family.
Gotcha.
So no one's left behind, really.
Perfect. Which is appropriate for veterans and military. That's their whole motif, right? No one left behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been working towards wanting to get more engaged in the EFMP program, which is EFMP. It's the Employee Family Program for the federal government. If you're a military member and you are you have an employee or a family member who has a disability, where do they go? And that's something that we're working towards to help those folks that are in the military and those that have a child or a family member who has a disability and needs support.
Gotcha. Well, finally, we wrap things up. For someone who's been in the industry 30 days or 30 months as opposed to 30 years, what would be your mic drop? What would be your, I want the people that are brand new to the industry, or maybe even people who are deciding whether to join the industry or not, what would be your kind of elevator pitch to join work comp and kind of embrace the mindset that you personally philosophically have and PCSI has?
You know, no one's different. We just might need to manage things a little differently. So, never discard anyone, never limit anyone, and, treat everybody with respect. You asked earlier about, the change in claims process. Really, it's gone from, you know, a full abled person to more embracing the disability community. And I think that's amazing and wonderful. And for PCSI and a lot of folks that I'm starting to see, we're starting to recognize the benefits and values that someone who has a disability can bring.
Gotcha. Awesome. Very well said. Well, Barbara, thank you so much for joining us here in Orlando.
Thank you for having
me. You haven't gone outside yet.
Oh, my face is probably red enough, so you would think I have.
It's hot. It's hot. Let's for sure. Well, Barbara, thanks again for joining us. Straight out of workers' comp at WCI. See y'all later.
Oh my God.